On the site, we have other buildings besides the Lighthouse. This is our fog signal building right there, and it originally was a whistle, a steam whistle, and they realized by the time they got the steam whistle hooked up that the fog was gone. So later on, they got a diaphone fog signal.
Lake Superior stretches as far as the eye can see. From the top of the tower, you can also see the unique features of this light station that helps sailors navigate the harbor.
The bellbuoy marks the entrance to the harbor. It also marks a reef, which is just to the east of the bellbuoy, so that the boats don't hit it. Right now our water's pretty high, so it's not a real problem. But normally when the water's a lot lower, you can see the rocks. And then they have to use our two range rocks, which are located on the south beach, and line up, and then they can go between the range rocks and make it safely into the harbor without hitting any other reefs. The boats have to go around that bellbuoy, and then they line up on the shore over there are the two range lights. The range light are the two lights on the shore, one high, one low, to get boats into the harbor, which they must go through those two range rocks. They were built there in 1895, and they are 14 feet deep between them. And the reason they needed to be deeper was because as the ships were bringing in more and more people and miners and people looking for jobs up here, and also copper was heavy, and they needed the depth to get through there. They dynamited it actually to be deep enough. And then in the background is the Coast Guard boathouse. The boathouse itself is owned by the state of Michigan, and they allow us to put our displays in there. We have several boats in there. It was operated as a life-saving or Coast Guard station starting in 1939. Many, many rescues went on from there.
And of course, I had to ask if this historic building was haunted.
The Keweenaw Paranormal Association came out and investigated us about 5 years ago, and they did certify that we have a ghost in the lighthouse, and we also have a ghost in the White Building. And so that's another interesting story, and several of the lighthouse keepers and their assistants did mention that at the time. So we are certified that we do have a ghost. Come and visit our ghosts. Our hours are noon to 5 during June, September, and October. And then in July and August, we're open from 10 to 5. Sundays we always keep with noon to 5. There's a docent in the lighthouse to guide you through, and it is $5 for adults, and children are free. And there are 3 other museums on site, History Museum, Fog Signal Building, which is our Maritime Museum, and our Fishing Museum. The people that do the tours here are docents, which means they're volunteers and they're not paid, and they study the history. I have a docent handbook. If anybody wants to be a volunteer, I'll give you my number. And they show up on time and open up the buildings and talk to the visitors and welcome them. We have visitors from around the world, over 12,000 seasonally, and of course there are people here at night and there are people here in the morning when we're not open. People love to come here, so we're very happy that they do.